Welcome to yet another exciting edition of Sports Talk here on Atlantic Television Network. On this edition of the program, River is set to host the 2024 Public Service Games. Coming from the world of tennis, Alexander Zverev wins his first Paris Masters title. Ikorodu FC defeats Urias United and ends her unbeaten run. Details of these and many more will be yours when we return from the break.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
Welcome back, Sports Talk here on Atlantic Television Network, and Mike is here. Nice to have you, Mike.
Yeah, good morning, and good morning to our viewers.
Let's get started. As usual, we'll start from the local scene here in River State, where the governor edition of the Public Service Games. This game, which has been christened the Simplified Rivers Games 2024, expected to get underway on the 27th of November and run through to the 5th of December. Secretary to the Government of Federation, to the Government of the State, Dr. Tami Janagogo, actually briefed newsmen at the weekend about this development. Mike, Public Service Games, a lot of people coming to River State in the next few weeks to be part of the game. What does it mean to public servants and, of course, this show? And in a commitment to foster diverse sporting culture, the chairman of the National Sports Commission, Alhaji Shehu Diko, has promised equal opportunities for all sports to flourish here in Nigeria. This looks like a mantra we've often seen with helmsmen and the heads of sports. Would there be any different this time around? We've had several sports disciplines, but in the past, it looks like concentration has always been on football. Shehu Diko, a football person, people would think that that will be a familiar route to tread. But he's saying that Sports Commission will be interested in other sports disciplines.
We just hope that all these, lofty ideas and big statements from Shehu Diko going to see the light of the day. Let's hope that it's not going to be, you know, the normal thing that they just do when they get a, you know, an official appointment in a very sensitive position. You just come to the media to herald what you tend to do, bring out some of those lofty ideas, but at the end of it all, nobody get to see anything positive from all the promises. So I'm hoping that this one is not, you know, the conventional saying where they will come to, you know, make some of those media statements. I hope that he is going to achieve all of these, but then you take a look at the time frame that he has and also his track record. It's another worry, because there are so many persons, there are so many groups and factions that are not actually happy about Mr. Shehu Diko being appointed as the chairman of the National Sport Commission because of his past, you know, antecedent. Let's hope that this one is not going to be another rhetoric.
What is it about his past antecedents? It doesn't seem to be, to me, a bad administrator. We saw him, you know, set up a league management company around the league here in Nigeria. And while he was there, I'm sure the league enjoyed some respectability. There was some kind of sponsorship in the league. And what else do you want? It wasn't going to be a radio, but at least he got the league started in a professional manner. And for me, there was some funds as well to run the league without a lot of government input to it. So, and beyond that, Shehu Diko is known as the man who midwifed the National Sports Commission Act, and so he knows exactly what he put together that was approved by the National Assembly, you know, that led to the return of the National Assembly and National Sports Commission. So I think no other person could have been better, you know, to administer these rules and regulations which he put together and as approved by the National Assembly.
Well, he talked about him having an in-depth knowledge of administrative, you know, issues. But then in 2004, he was also appointed as, you know, the head man of a FIFA Go project right here in Nigeria to liaise between then Portsmouth Football Club, you know, Kano Pillars, and was it Everton, if I'm not mistaken. Then you ask yourself, as a chairman of FIFA Go project, what were the, you know, attraction that he was able to bring to, you know, his own country, because the charity, they say, begins at home. Then, as was it called Kaduna United? Then were they able to benefit from him being the herdsman of FIFA Go project, and a whole lot of money was given to him by FIFA for that Go project. And for me, I did not see Kaduna United receiving a chunk of that benefit. Then moving on, 2008 down to 2011, where he was made a consultant by the the House of Representatives for Sport. He was made their consultant within that period of 2008 to 2011. What were the major achievements, you know, was he able to bring?
He was able to ensure that the National Sports Commission bill was passed into law.
That is what he did.
Yes,
Moving
and
on,
that for me is principle, because you cannot continue to have sports run by, you know, civil servants or, you know, administrators from the Federal Ministry of Sports. All over the world, the National Sports Commission is being charged to run sports, and the Sports Commission are an embodiment or is peopled by professionals in respective sports disciplines. So, and, you know, as a sports consultant, he was able to ensure that, you know, in the past, we've often seen the National Sports Commission being scrapped because it wasn't law per se, you know, but with the National Sports Commission Act bill being passed to law now, it will be difficult for you to wish away the National Sports Commission. All you can do now, if you must wish it away, is to go through Parliament or through the National Assembly to get it repudiated. And right now, I'm not too sure it will be that easy to just wish away. It won't be just, okay, we're scrapping the National Sports Commission, we're being replaced by the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports and all of that. It has to follow through, you know, the process of law. And for me, that was a major milestone, you know, as midwife by Shehu Diko. But what we're not here to look at actually the achievements of Shehu Diko in the past, but we hope with his emergence as the chairman of the National Sports Commission, charged with running all sporting fairs here in Nigeria, he will do more than we saw of him in the past. Now, let's quickly go to volleyball, and all is set for the final phase of the 2024 Beach Volleyball Star Tour in Bauchi. This is interesting. Volleyball going around the country. Chairman of the local organizing committee says 24 teams will compete for grand prize of the tournament coming up from the 11th of November to the 18th at the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa Stadium in Bauchi.
Yeah, I think it's a great one. You know, I think the organizers, they are doing a lot. You talk about the chairman of, you know, volleyball. I think he's been doing very well to ensure that at least we have an even development of volleyball across the nation, not just in one particular region, but all of the region. And I hope that Bauchi, you know, have what it takes, you know, to maintain this standard. Of course, you take a look at the past 2 years when you talk about Bauchi in terms of basketball, handball development. They've been very good in ensuring that they put up the necessary facilities in place, and that is why whenever you talk about hosting of the handball, Bauchi is one of you know, the states that we readily come to your mind. So I hope they continue to improve from all fronts in order for us to see a very viable handball league right here in the country.
Meanwhile, Nigerian Civil and Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps have become the very first team to win at the mixed table tennis championship ongoing. Mike, this is interesting. A security arm being the very first to winning a mixed table tennis event. We had it, saw them in a 3-2 victory, earning as much as 1 million naira after an intense battle at the Teslim Balogo Stadium in Surrey, Lagos at the weekend.
For me, I think it's a nice one, but then can they maintain this momentum? This is just a big question. It's not about having a one-off kind of event like this. When next we get to hear is about 5 or even 10 years down the line. Consistency must be done before I can actually, you know, give them that credibility that they have what it takes to bring out talent from that angle. If that consistency is not there, we are just going to use it as a more like a recreational sporting activity where people just come to enjoy themselves, play happy and go home. And, you know, when next, you know, they host this kind of thing may be in 5 years or even 10 years time. So I think for me, the basics is about maintaining the standard of the competition. 2, it's about maintaining consistency, because that is the only way that many people out there can actually take them very serious, that indeed they want to add their own quota to improve the course of the game right here in the country.
Mixed table tennis event taking place here in Nigeria. You saw the attraction of 28 teams that participated in the historical championship. We had you know, those coming in from Ghana, Togo, and the Benin Republic to be part of this one. Congratulations to this Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps for being the very first winner in this. It was a sub-region event. Meanwhile, the poster boy of Nigeria table tennis, Haruna Quadri, has displayed a very remarkable performance, winning 3-2 in a comeback victory against Japan's number 5 seed Tomakazu Arimoto on the opening day of the World Table Tennis Championship that took place in Frankfurt, Germany.
Great one for, you know, Haruna Quadri, and I think every time or any time that Haruna Quadri is very fit, you know, to represent us, I think he always delivers when it matters most. He lost the first and second you know, round of the game, but then he was able to bounce back in magical fashion in the third quarter of the game to actually, you know, defeat his opponent. I think for me, it was a great battle between him and the Chinese, who also is ranked 5th in their country out there. You know, an impressive one. And because of this you know, performance, he has also moved to round of 16 of the competition. I think for me it's a nice one, and this will also continue to improve his ranking standard, because as it is right now, he's seated the world number 25th, no, 21st as it is right now. So if he continue to improve on his you know, trade, maybe in the next ranking is going to jump up even further. But I tell you, it's a big victory for Haruna Quadri.
Haruna Quadri in table tennis in Africa, you always remember him as one of the strongest opponents of the Egyptians. The Egyptians too have always competed side by side with Nigeria in terms of who comes first in Africa in table tennis. And that reminds me of Omar Assar. Omar Assar, we understand, couldn't go beyond the first round at this event in Germany.
Disappointing one for Omar Assar, for the Egyptian, and for Africa as a continent, because he would have been to the glory of Africa as a continent if Omar Assar was able to you know, scale through in that very one. But disappointing, he wasn't able to you know, carry on and continue to do Africa proud. But then I think it's not a good one, and that is why we are commending Haruna Quadri for doing not just Nigeria proud, but Africa.
Haruna Quadri winning his own event, moving to the round of 16, and the Egyptian Omar Assar, not being able to go to the second round. He lost in all 3 sets to Sweden's Artur Kalbad, 11-9, 11-7, and 11-3. We just hope that Omar Assar will bounce back just as he rounds up in tennis. And talking about tennis now, from table tennis, we go to the lawn tennis, where Germany's Alexander Zverev claimed a straight-set win over home favorite Ugo Huberg to claim his first Paris Masters title. The new world number 2 beat French number 1 6-2, 6-2 on Sunday to secure the 7th ATP title, 1000 title for his career. Alexander Zverev underperforming most times, but now, do you think he's set for the season-ending championship coming up in Milan?
I think yes. For me, if you take a look at his performance in this tournament, I think you will say yeah, he's ready. And also,
he lost in the final of the French Open, if you remember.
Yeah, he lost the final of the French Open, and since then he has not been able to win any major. But this time around, he's bouncing back in a very strong manner to displace the then world number 2, talking about Carlos Alcaraz, and he actually upstaged him to world number 2 as it is right now. So let's hope that this is going to be a morale booster for him ahead of the season ending.
1,000 points, that's good, and that has catapulted him to the number 2 position right now on the ATP ranking. Don't forget, only the first 8 on the ranking will be part of the season-ending championship coming up in Milan in Italy. Still looking at how to garner more points to see how to job league or leapfrog into the season-ending championship for the WTA. That's for the women version. We understand their season-ending championship coming up in Saudi Arabia. Meanwhile, British number 1 Katie Butler was very comfortably beaten in straight sets by Russia's top seed Diana Shapovalov in the final of the Hong Kong Open. I'm not too sure this number of points will be able to catapult Diana of this into the 4th round. I'll just say, even to the season-ending championship, there's no way she can come to the first 8 in the world.
I do not think so, despite the point that she was able to rack up from this very tournament.
She's now world number 25.
Yes, her previous point was nothing to write home about. So even if you actually add this 1,000 points to the point that she had before, she cannot...
yeah, but she's been able to do well in Thailand, in Hungary, and in Germany this year, where she has played in the finals of the WTA finals. She's always won, and I think she's had a good year, no doubt about it.
No doubt about it. She's always, did great for herself, especially for this season. But then it was just quite unfortunate that looking at all her achievements so far this season, her ranking points cannot be able to, help her get to that world number 8, and that is why I'm thinking she might not be part of the final, season ending in Germany. But then it was a great display from her. And for the British, talking about Katie Butler, I think for me it's quite disappointing. Most time when you expect the British players, to come very strong to live up to the expectation, and just don't live up to that high expectation. And so for me, I think it's another disappointing season for all the British, player again.
Well, let's look at the last story we can bring you in this half of the show. Iga Swiatek began a very big to regain the world number 1 ranking with a comeback win over Barbora Krejcikova in the finals group of WTA events. Mike, yeah. It looks like Iga Swiatek, yes, is beginning to win a little bit in her performances, but you lose the first set, she bounced back in the second set, 7-5, 6-2. Do you think she can maintain her number 1 status, heading to Saudi Arabia for the season-ending championship?
I think so. She can regain back that number 1 spot. Don't forget, it was just a few point disparity, that separate her and the world number 1 as it is right now. And I think for me, she can actually, hit that world number 1 before the season ending. And looking at the way she was able to bounce back after that first set, loss, I think for me, there is all indication that Iga Swiatek is going to reclaim back that world number 1 before the season ending.
Aryna Sabalenka, world number 1 right now, but if she's able to rack in points here, I'm sure it will help her a lot heading to Saudi Arabia for the season-ending championship. She's playing under a new coach, Simso Fizenti.
Yeah.
Do you think this coach can take her to the status she really wants?
I think so. Vicente is a very experienced coach that have coached other top tennis stars in the past as well, and I think it's going to be a great one for her this season, especially with the new idea that the International Tennis Federation want to implement, thereby allowing coaches to come close to the court when the players will be court to display their skills out there, to give one or two instructions. That is going to add another strength, another extra morale to the player, because if you're having your coach standing close to the court out there, there are some areas that you cannot be able to perfect during the course of the game, whereas these are some of the training regimen that you've been carrying out with your coach during training hours. So if your coach spots some of these errors, she can always quickly tell you the errors, and while playing actively on the court out there, you can also correct them. So for me, I think it's going to be a nice one. Let's hope that they continue to work together for her own professional career going forward.
Well, say looking at how tennis players are preparing for the WTA, the season-ending championship, Coco Gauff, another top American female tennis player, has beaten fellow American Jessica Pegula 6-3, 6-2, straight win. At the Orange Group match only yesterday. Don't forget the top two players from each of these group advanced to the semi-finals, and thereon. So right now we have Sabalenka, Zhang Xin, Elena Rybakina, and Jasmine Paulin in the purple group. Let's hope that there will be no alteration between the first 8 for the females.
I think there will not be, unless anything, something dramatic happens in the next few games that we are going to see. But it's looking likely that some of these names that you've rolled out might possibly maintain their positions.
Only 8 players, the top 8 players will play in the season-ending championship. We are aware that all the Grand Slams has come to an end for the year 2024. For us here, we would like to take a break now. When we return for a break, we'll look at boxing. Former heavyweight boxer champion Lennox Lewis has an advice for Anthony Joshua. We'll take that advice when we come back from the break. Is it worth it? And will it be adhered to? Then across to football, Manchester United and Chelsea, they shared the spoils last night in the Premiership in England. Details of this and many more will be coming your way when we return from the break.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water, and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats, and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women, and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors, and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
Welcome back. It's Sports Talk here on Atlantic Television Network, and we'll bring you up to speed with the latest happening around the world of sports. And now we have to go straight to boxing. Former undisputed heavyweight champion Leonard Lewis has some advice for Anthony Joshua after months of his losing to his British counterparts. Mike, what advice do you think Leonard Lewis has for for Anthony Joshua? Yes, he's lost. He needs advice, if you ask me.
And the advice has been pouring it from left, right, center, since he lost that, fight against Daniel Dubois. Many have advised that he should, call it quits. Many have also said that he should take a break, while others are also urging him to, ride on until he gets back that needed victory so that to stage a very massive comeback to the world of boxing after losing his position twice as it is right now. That is his fourth loss of his professional career, and that loss was so devastating because take a look at the moment it took him to build back that career, coming back to possibly make a name again. It was, also shut down. All those dreams, all those aspirations were, came to a crumble when he actually was floored by Daniel Dubois. I think for me, personally, I would not want to agree with the advice of Leonard Lewis. I would have
that he should take a break.
Yes,
and Anthony Joshua should take a break and maybe return a better fighter.
I think for me, I do not want to, toe that line. Why? Because the reputation of Anthony Joshua is on the line, and possibly he will be eyeing to take on either Tyson Fury or Alexander Usyk after their rematch. So for me, I think he needs to bounce back immediately by challenging or a rematch against this same Daniel Dubois. If his camp, talking about Eddie Hearn, is saying that Anthony Joshua is ready to come back, then let's take him by his word. Because if he comes back and is able to dismantle Daniel Dubois, then automatically he stands in a pole position to take on any of these two heavyweight boxers. It's either Tyson Fury or Alexander Usyk after their rematch. So for me, I think if he has been past fit, then there's nothing stopping him from, staging a comeback against Daniel Dubois and possibly see if he can be able to reclaim that IBF belt so that he will be in a pole position or to stand tall against any other fighter.
Let's quickly stay away from boxing now and go to Formula One, where there's been victory for Max Verstappen again at the Saudi Polo Grand Prix. Saudi Grand Prix is come and end, comes to and gone. Right now, it looks like Max Verstappen, having suffered some losses in the last few races, is now back to winning ways.
Yeah, I think it's a big relief for Max Verstappen, especially for the last three races right now. It has not been very, very good for him out there. But then he feels good to come back to that winning ways, making it 8 wins so far for the season with just few races left to go. And he has also further increased, the point margin as it is right now to 68. And I think for me it was a great one. But I'm so shocked and disappointed that the likes of McLaren, that we hope that maybe could be the leading figure to challenge.
They were not anywhere around the first, second, third at the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. In fact, if we talk about this Grand Prix in Saudi Arabia, it's Stefan Eckhorn who came second, in the, of course, drive for Alpine. Then Pierre Gasly of Alpine as well came in the third place position. Not forgetting George Russell, always coming fourth, if you ask me, this season. And Charles Leclerc of Ferrari coming in the fifth place position. Lando Norris from McLaren came 6th, and one were expected that they should have been at least second. Yuki Tsunoda of the Racing Bull came 7th, while Oscar Piastri of McLaren was in the 8th position. Liam Lawson of Red Bull came 9th, while Lewis Hamilton, who drove for Mercedes, was the 10th place driver. Let's now go to football. And talking about football, we saw match day 10 of the Nigerian Premier League all in action yesterday. And interestingly, after match day 10, only Academy Warriors remain unbeaten in the Premier League here in Nigeria, where we saw 20 goals scored yesterday. There were 2 away victories, and a draw, and 7 home victories. Talking about 7 home victories, had to do with one everybody kept an eye on. Ikorodu FC at home in Lagos against Rivers United, one of the teams that was unbeaten. But that record was put aside by Ikorodu, who beat Rivers United by 2-0.
Very shocking result out there, and for Ikorodu City, there seems to have...
Are you shocked? Ikorodu City in the last few weeks have bounced back to winning ways, and so I expected that, yes, if there was a team that could dent the record of Rivers United, it was going to be Ikorodu City in their present form.
I was shocked because of the fact that Rivers...
There was 2 goals.
Yes.
The first time they were considering goals away, and they considered 2.
Yes, and for Rivers United, I thought maybe they are going to carry that their unbeaten run at least to match the 15 or 12 or thereabout. But coming up against a very resurgent Ikorodu City, that since they picked their first 3 points at home, they've been actually firing from all cylinders, both home and away. They get a point. I think for me, look as though Ikorodu City, they've actually discovered the magic on what it takes to start winning all 3 points in the Nigerian Premier Football League. Because you take a look at how they actually started the season, in their first 5 games, it was very, very difficult for them to pick points, both home and away. But since they discovered that trick, that magic, and it is working for them, they've started, picking 3 points. Big victory for Ikorodu City, we want to say.
It was yet another big victory for Rangers International at the Cathedral in Enugu because they beat Nasarawa United by 2-0. Canopilas beat Plateau United by 1-0. Sunshine Stars, one of the teams that lost at home, Insurance of Benin traveled to Akure to beat Sunshine Stars. Abia Warriors too lost at home. Hadland FC of Owerri beat them by 1-0. The encounter between Bayelsa United and Eyimba International at the Samson Siasia Stadium in Yenegua ended 1-1, while Niger Tornadoes defeated Itiresi of Ibadan by 1-0. Akwa United played at the Gospel Private Stadium Uyo, defeated Kwara United by 2-1. Remo Stars narrowly defeated Lobi Stars by 1-0. With Tuli High Academy Warriors remain unbeaten as the only team in the Nigerian Premier League after 10 matches with a 1-0 win over Katsina United. Now let's quickly go across to Europe, where we saw action at the weekend as well. On the lips of the star match of the Premiership game that took place in England was Manchester United at Old Trafford against Chelsea with interim coach Van Nistelrooy. It ended 1-1. Manchester United scored first via penalties through the captain, but Chelsea stopped the fun and party of Van Nistelrooy by scoring it ended 1-1 at 90 minutes plus added time. Mike, Chelsea getting it right, and Manchester United still struggling?
Yes, of course, they are still struggling. After the FA Cup 5-2 thumping of Leicester City, most of their fans began to, happy or jubilated because according to them, they said that Nistelrooy was better off than Eric Ten Hag. But then, against a Leicester City side that just came back from relegation and still struggling in the league out there, it was very easy for Manchester United to dismantle them 5-2. But then, Chelsea is more a formidable team under a new manager that is doing pretty well as well. So it wasn't easy for them. In fact, Chelsea had the bulk of, the chances to have won that game. Immediately, Manchester United scored via the penalty. You saw the celebration did not even take more than 4 minutes before Chelsea had to draw level and had glorious opportunity, which Enzo Fernandez squandered. If not, it would have been a 2-1 victory for Chelsea out there, but then they had to share the spoil. All is not well with Manchester United yet, even as we speak, because their playing pattern and the result is not yet, solid, according to so many of their fans out there. And if you want to take a look at it, Chelsea, I think they've improved a lot. Courtesy of that, at one point, they were able to muscle away at the Old Trafford. They are seated in a 4th position right now, toppling Arsenal. The same point margin, but goal difference as it is, right? So it's a very big game, and he actually lived up to the expectation. But Manchester United still need to do a lot.
Talking about a team that did a lot at the weekend, that could be Tottenham Hotspur, because they beat Aston Villa by 4-1. While at the weekend, we saw Newcastle United defeat Arsenal by 1-0. Bournemouth was the team of the week. If you ask me, they beat Manchester City by 2-1. Each time player a 1-0 draw with Leicester City. Liverpool right now leads with the Premier League with a 2-1 win over Brighton at the weekend. Nottingham Forest, my 12-year-old was like, how? Nottingham Forest within the top 4 in the Premiership in England, courtesy of that 3-0 win over West Ham United.
I think it was, very surprising to so many out there. Looking at the English Premier League table and you are seeing Nottingham Forest among the top 5, it was like, wow, am I dreaming? But then, it is what it is. Since their new coach came in this season, I think Nottingham Forest have actually improved a lot. Thanks to also our man talking about Ola Aina. He actually scored a screamer. One of the goals, we may want to say it should be among the goal
of the week.
Yeah,
no doubt about it. Southampton beat Everton by 1-0, while we saw Wolves Wanderers play a 2-2 draw with Crystal Palace. Quickly, let's go to the La Liga in Spain, where it was interesting. Barcelona beating Espanyol by 3-1. Real Sociedad beating Sevilla at home 2-0. Sociedad was away. Atletico Bilbao and of course Betis played a 1-1 draw, while Valladolid lost away to Osasuna. Girona beat Leganés 4-3. Meanwhile Alaves were 1-0 winner over Real Mallorca. Across to Germany. At the weekend, it was Freiburg 0 means no goal, while it's 4-1 for Mönchengladbach over Werder Bremen. Bayern Munich continued to dominate with a 3-0 win over FC Union Berlin. Eintracht Frankfurt 7, Bochum 2. What a high scoreline! 9 goals in this fixture. Mike, quickly.
Very surprising, goal scoring ratio out there. I think for me. In the Serie Bundesliga, we've not seen any team scoring as much as 7 goals to 2 this season. I think it is a record.
Bayern Leverkusen played out the goalless draw with Stuttgart, and one would have expected that the Nigerian player Victor Boniface will get on the score sheet. Somehow he was substituted, in the second half of that fixture.
It has been very difficult for Xavi Alonso's side this season. It looks as though they are not going to replicate the same form we saw them last season, but it's still too early call to make. They are still in the title race as it is, but then the inconsistency in terms of churning out a result is not there again.
There are fixtures in the Ligue 1 in France. Toulouse beat Rennes by 1-0. Auxerre were 4 goals better than Rennes, while Havre played out a 1-0 win over Montpellier. Nantes playing at home lost by 2-1. FC Marseille beat them there. Paris Saint-Germain were just a goal better than Lens. It ended 1-0, while Brest lost at home to Nice in their own fixture. Earlier, we saw Monaco losing at home to Angers by 1-0. The encounter between Lille and Lyon ended 1-1. In the German Bundesliga, there were quite a lot of action, but let's see whether we can get just one more result there. We saw our own player, Ademola Lookman, having to score 2 goals in the match between Napoli and Atalanta. Atalanta hammered Napoli by 3 unreplied goals.
Quite shocking, especially for Antonio Conte's side, that since they lost 1-0 in their first Serie A game, they have not lost any game so far till that loss against Atlanta. I think for me, Lookman Ademola once again proved to be the magic man for the Atlanta side. As his dazzling skills were very difficult for the Napoli defenders to cope with, and for me, I think he has also cemented his name as the front runner for the African Footballer of the Year.
Number 14 player in football, I just say 14 the best player in the world, in Ballon d'Or right now. Let's hope that he will continue to maintain his ranking, and looking forward to where he will emerge in the CAF Player of the Year award. Meanwhile, Torino played at home lost to Fiorentina. Verona beat Roma by 3-2. Inter Milan continued to show their strength by beating Venezia by 1-0. Bologna, they had the same scoreline against Lecce, taking all 3 points, while Juventus went to Udinese and beat them by 2-0. Earlier, we saw Monza lost at home, AC Milan beating them by 1-0. Interestingly, I think we'll just take just one more story, and that story has a little bit of speculation in it. FC Galatasaray say it has to be 50 million euros for Osimhen to leave in January.
I think we just need to keep cool right now. All this rumor yet until the transfer window opens in January before we know the direction of Victor Osimhen, Napoli, and Galatasaray.
Well, Napoli and Galatasaray, let's hope that the man will want to go back to Italy, but I'm sure there are still more in him, you know, in the Turkish league. He's scoring goals, and I'm sure the Turkish fans are enjoying it as well. So let's hope that all of this will be sorted out sometimes in December ahead of the January move. But Victor Osimhen, not part of the party coming for the encounter against Rwanda?
Yeah, not part of the party. Against the reason is very simple. Maybe the coach just want to give him more time so that at least he's fully settled in well at the Galatasaray and gain full fitness. And then again, for the fact that African Cup of Nations qualifier is already almost done and dusted, there's no need of inviting him so that he don't come and get you know, another injury blow. So for me, I think with the crops of players that we have, even without the presence of Victor Osimhen, they can also get the job done.
Well, Victor Osimhen, very much in the news there, but I'm sure he's enjoying his moments out there in Galatasaray in Turkey. And that's the much we can take on this edition of Sports Talk here. Definitely be back at 6 p.m. Nigerian time for Sports Extraordinary, when we will give you snippets, especially highlights of how it went down there in the Nigerian Professional Football League. We told you is concluded in week 10, and 11 is here with us. We'll look at results of those matches, especially how Academy Warrior remains the only unbeaten run team in the league right now. And across to the Premiership in England, Arsenal, their dream for emerging as champion of the Premier League, is it over? We'll take a look at that when we come back at 6 p.m. Nigerian time as well. Then Manchester United, their new coach is expected to get to job to work this week. So are they going to be better under a new coach? And many more highlights of what transpired in the top leagues, in the French League One, Bundesliga, and of course the Spanish La Liga as well. Until then, remember, peace and unity are clearly pathways to progress. Always enjoy here on Atlantic Television Network.